Mujtaba sent a deadly message to the US as the war flares up again, letting Tehran street art speak the language of revenge and intimidation. We killed Trump. Iran's chilling new mural shows the American president lying in a coffin, transforming a public wall in Tehran into a graphic threat aimed straight at the White House. As US raids pound key Iranian military sites from Greater Tum to coastal missile hubs, Tehran's hardliners are plotting deadly revenge, and the coffin mural is being seen as a stark warning. A new mural depicting US President Donald Trump in a coffin has been unveiled in Tehran, reflecting the raw anger and desire for revenge coursing through Iran's hardline circles. The mural was installed at Tehran's Enghelab Square, a symbolically charged location often used for political messaging and revolutionary imagery. The artwork shows Trump lying in a coffin alongside the phrase "We kill Trump," turning the display into an explicit death threat rather than just a protest image. This installation comes amid mounting hardline calls for revenge after Ali Khamenei's killing, with public art now echoing the rhetoric of retaliation. The mural follows days of escalating military confrontation between Tehran and Washington. The US has launched a fresh wave of strikes on Iran on July 15th, with Central Command saying the focus is on degrading the military capabilities Tehran uses to threaten shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. US forces hit radar sites, coastal missile batteries, drone launch points and related infrastructure linked to previous attacks on tankers and cargo vessels, as per CENTCOM. US forces rained fire on Greater Tum Island for 90 minutes, hammering one of Iran's key forward positions near the Strait of Hormuz in a sustained air operation. On radar for this strike were Iran's coastal defense systems, cruise missile storage facilities and launch sites on and around the island. President Trump also threatened to widen the conflict, warning that the war could expand to include strikes on Iran's power grid and key bridges if Tehran continues its operations. "We'll hit them harder next week," Trump said, signaling that he sees this latest barrage not as a climax but as a prelude to even more intense attacks if Iran does not change course. Iran, for its part, vowed retaliation after southeastern barracks were struck. Authorities said at least 7 troops were killed in the American attack. This came as Washington restarted its naval blockade around the Iranian coastline, beginning on July 14th, tightening pressure on Iran's maritime trade and energy exports. Over 20 US warships and hundreds of aircraft are reported to be deployed around Iran, creating a dense ring of naval and air power. Meanwhile, Iran targeted US ally in the Middle East as tensions soared, firing missiles and drones at a key base. Iran says it has launched a new wave of drone strikes targeting the US Azraq Air Base in Jordan. According to Tehran, the attack was aimed at positions housing US fighter jets inside the base. Iran also claims the drone operation targeted accommodation facilities used by American troops. The Iranian military further alleges that a major US equipment hangar was struck during the latest raid. Tehran says the Azraq operation forms part of its continuing campaign against US military bases across the region. Iran adds that this latest assault follows 6 earlier waves of attacks on American targets. IRGC statement read, and I quote, "The hangars for American F-15, 16, and 35 fighter jets and a number of US MQ-9 strategic drones at the Azraq base in Jordan were destroyed. People of Jordan, as of this dawn, the wickedness of the child-killing US Army against our nation has been renewed. In response to the crimes of the Great Satan, the bulk of which are carried out using American bases on Jordanian soil, the fighters of the IRGC Aerospace Force, in a retaliatory attack on the American base in Azraq during the 6th wave of Operation Nasser 2 with the code YA Allah, destroyed the hangars for F-15, 16, and 35 fighter jets and a number of US MQ-9 strategic drones at this base. The Holy Land of Jordan is the path of the prophets and is not a place for occupiers and international criminals. The Islamic Ummah expects you, the noble and zealous people who have witnessed the crimes of America and the Zionist regime against oppressed Palestine more than any other nation, to end the presence of the great Satan's army on your soil and not allow that Holy Land to be the origin of aggressive attacks on the territory of Islamic countries and bullying against the Palestinian nation. Do not miss any opportunity to destroy American institutions and expel the occupying American army from Jordan." Unquote. Iran has accused Washington of repeatedly violating the ceasefire through fresh military actions. The Iranian military says it will retaliate against any attack on its land, territorial waters, or airspace. Fresh explosions were reported across at least 7 locations in Iran as the conflict escalated. US Central Command announced a new round of strikes targeting Iran's military capabilities. Washington says the latest strikes are intended to stop attacks on commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The latest CENTCOM statement says U.S. operations will continue to target threats to regional maritime security. U.S. Central Command statement read, and I quote, U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, completed an additional round of strikes against Iran at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, July 14th, hitting dozens of military targets near the Strait of Hormuz and Iranian coastal areas. U.S. fighter aircraft, drones, and naval vessels launched precision munitions against Iranian missile and drone sites, naval capabilities, and coastal defense systems during the 7-hour wave to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping and civilian crews. The strikes took place the same day U.S. forces resumed the naval blockade against vessels transiting to or from Iranian ports and coastal areas. The blockade went into effect at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today. U.S. forces remain vigilant, lethal, and prepared to execute operations directed by the Commander-in-Chief, unquote. The U.S.-Iran conflict continues despite a Pakistan-mediated peace memorandum of understanding. Tensions around the Strait of Hormuz remain high as both sides continue exchanging fresh attacks.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you'll have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.